Okay, welcome back everyone. Welcome to this third installment of Laravel PHP tutorial. We're going to just quickly have a look at the file structure, just to give you your bearings, so you don't get lost basically, as I'm going through the first application. So in the last video, if you've not seen it, go and check it out. In the last video we used Composer to install Laravel. And it downloaded all its dependencies, third-party software that Laravel depends on, and we ended up with this page here. So let's have a look and see what we got. So I've just dragged this on top of Sublime Text, and if we look inside these folders, we can see that we've got quite a lot of files, and it might be quite daunting, but a lot of it's pretty self-explanatory. So quickly, we have app, which contains the models and controllers and views, the MVC model view controller, files, which are here and here. The bootstrap, which auto loads and is involved in firing everything up, and creates the main app object. Public directories, which is what we're viewing here. htaccess file goes to index.php and asks for those bootstrap files that we just looked at. And we can put our own packages in there, and you don't really develop much in here unless you're making a package, but that gets everything running. And then in vendor, you will recognise these from our last video. These are what we were installing with Composer. That's all the stuff that it downloaded, and this is third-party software. Things like SwiftMailer and part of Symfony is in there, and the Laravel framework is in there as well. So that's the main 4 directories. We have an artisan file here, and this is something that you run on the command line. You can see that I've run one here. I just typed in PHP artisan, and we're given all the options, and we'll be using this a lot, and it helps kind of set up new controls and things like that. Composer.json we've already looked at, and that's a file Composer uses to install dependencies. PHP unit XML is a file that's used for basically settings for testing with PHP unit. So we'll get into that further down the line. And server.php is something that you use, that Laravel uses if you're using the new PHP server rather than Apache, but we're not, so we don't need to worry about this. But it just helps with the pretty URLs. So in this app folder, commands is where we put our own bespoke artisan commands if we want to make our own commands. Config is where configuration happens, and there's all the different ones there. So we'll delve into that later. Controllers, so we have a home controller, we have show welcome, and it's returning the view hello, which is here, which is what we're seeing on this screen at the moment. Okay. The database is where we keep our migrations and our seeds. Migrations are changes to databases, seeds are basically seed data that we start with. Lang is for if you want to make your site multilingual. Models are where our models are and how we talk to the database. Start gives us these kind of settings files here. So we have a global one and we have a local configuration file, just in case we want things to be different locally than we do when we've got our application running on the production server. And the artisan PHP there has to be registered in here. Storage is where our cache, session data and things like that, this must be writable. Tests is for our testing, and views, I've already mentioned, is where our views for our just standard pages are, and the reminders are there. Our routes are also in here, which is where we set up our URLs. So you might have about, or etc., etc. And in this case, we're not going to a controller to ask what to happen. We're just returning a function straight back out again, which is a new thing, pretty new thing to PHP, and Laravel makes use of it. And that's pretty much it. So that's a quick overview. Also in that folder we have filters as well, and this is where things like if you want to check someone's allowed, whether they are important enough to use our application, then you would do that kind of thing in here. Okay, so that's the main structure of the framework, although you can kind of pervert it fairly easily if you want to. It's not too fussy about how you do things. So in the next video we shall start configuring our Laravel setup and do things like get a database online, and we shall make a test page to see how that all works. And I think I'll leave it there in the next video, so I shall see you there. Ciao.